There are an infinite number of ways to explain how a man can come to the point where he destroys human life.
It's been 30 years since the execution of Ted Bundy, the notorious serial killer responsible for the deaths of at least 30 women.
An anniversary like that always provides an opportunity to kind of look back and see what the legacy of somebody was.
It's a legacy that 3 decades later is still haunting so many. Now the story of the charismatic killer is being retold in the Netflix series Conversations with the Killer, Ted Bundy tapes. And dramatized in the movie, extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and violent.
Zac Efron plays Ted Bundy, and in many ways we are taking his kind of teen heartthrob image and turning that on its head.
Like it. Monkey! Oh!
Tonight we take you inside the story of a man who terrorized the nation, revealing new details and new interviews.
I never wanted to think people were born evil, but my opinion about that changed when I met Ted. I think he was just born evil.
When you look at Ted Bundy, he was about the right age to be in college. He drove a Volkswagen Beetle, very, very popular car in the 70s. And so when he would move into a college campus, he just fit right in. That was disarming to his victims. Like, he should be here. He looks like one of us. He drives one of our cars.
He graduated in June of '72 from the University of Washington with a degree in psychology.
Why does he get a degree in psychology? From my view, he does that because he wants to be able to continue to manipulate people.
Linda Ann Healy was a very popular young woman because she was on the radio 5 days a week at 7 o'clock in the morning. She gave the ski report. I was one of many who listened to her in the morning, and I realized the day that she wasn't on the air that there was something unusual.
She never showed up for work. Linda used to frequent a bar, Dante's Tavern. On the last night of her life, Linda Ann Healy went to Dante's with another girl and a friend of theirs. Bundy probably did follow them home and waited, and he checked the front door, and it was unlocked. He would tell a writer later that he choked her. It was a strange, strange abduction. The chances he took, it's not just that he went out and committed murder, but he seemed impervious to fear. And from there, the nightmare began.
That spring, more women across Washington and Oregon would vanish. And then
Ann Hawkins was a student at the University of Washington. Ann was abducted in June of 1974 on a beautiful, warm summer evening.
Years later, Ted Bundy would describe in detail what happened to Ann Hawkins to investigator Robert Kepler.
Basically, when I reached the car, what happened was I knocked her unconscious with a crowbar.
A wave of fear swept all across the state of Washington.
Ann Hawkins was last seen Monday evening
when someone was abducting young women.
It's hard to say whether there's any foul play or not. There were no clues whatsoever. I mean, it's kind of remarkable that nobody saw anything, but Lake Sammamish was another story.
July 14th, 1974, the place was absolutely packed. There were 40,000 people there.
A number of people that day at Lake Sammamish were taking photos and shooting film. Little did they know the police would want to review this footage.
Ted was able to meld into the crowd. He was able to convince Denise Naslund and Janice Ott to help him with the ruse that he had a sailboat, that he had his arm in a fake sling.
There were 3 women that saw Janice Ott roll her bicycle up to the beach and lay it down. And then they observed this man walk up to her. And they heard her get up and say, "Hi, I'm Jan." And he said, "I'm Ted." He gave his real name.
First, Janice went missing, and that was earlier in the morning. She disappeared. And then later, he came back to the park, and that's when Denise Naslund was abducted. Those abductions were very brazen and in front of literally thousands of witnesses, but the witnesses did not know what they were seeing. It was also critical that people who were at the park that day, who were taking photographs of their friends and family, any filming that they had done, turned over their photographs and filmed to us to see if we could find something that would be a clue.
And from the witnesses that saw him were composite drawings made.
When they finally got a Ted Bundy picture of this person of interest, no question in our minds, no question that this was the guy.
Bundy realized that if he wanted to keep killing, he was going to have to go somewhere where there was no investigation.
So what does Bundy do? He has the presence of mind to move from the Washington area to Utah. And again, he starts changing his tactics.
Bundy went to the University of Utah School of Law. The first semester, he's in class 3 times. He's like a kid in a candy store. He upped it in Utah, and he killed around 4 women in just a matter of weeks.
Carol DaRonch parked her car in this parking lot at the Fashion Mall. Shortly after began what she now calls her personal nightmare.
What makes the Carol DaRonch abduction so pivotal is that she's the only one who ever got away from Bundy.
Bundy, posing as a police officer, approaches a young DaRonch. He tells her that they've apprehended a suspect who was trying to break into her car.
He said they would have to go down to the main Murray Police Department to sign a complaint. DaRonch entered the abductor's car.
He stops the car and he attacks her.
She jumped out of the car. The man jumped out, waving what looked like a crowbar. She broke loose, ran to the street, flagged down a passing car, and an elderly couple drove DaRonch to the Murray Police Station. The search for her abductor began.
Bundy was off to a new hunting ground.
It's the winter of 1975, and Ted Bundy's got to find a place where there's not a lot of talk about missing women and where he can blend in. So he heads up the mountains to Colorado.
There, the list of victims grew. 5 additional women would be killed, one just a 12-year-old child.
In the summer of 1975, Bundy's luck is changing.
He was going from being the hunter to being the hunted.
There in Utah, he attracts the attention of a police officer. A short police chase was quickly followed by an arrest. Once in custody, hiding became more difficult.
That put him on the radar of Utah law enforcement, and they had this unsolved abduction of Carol DaRonch.
Carol DaRonch came to the police station, was shown a lineup, and was able to identify Bundy as the person who attacked her.
He was arrested and charged with the kidnapping of Carol DaRonch.
During court proceedings in Utah, Bundy actually comes outside and talks to the media.
Yes, I intend to complete my legal education and become a lawyer and be a damn good lawyer.
He was an arrogant, basically. And that's the way he came across on the stand.
Ted Bundy was convicted of kidnapping Carol DaRonch.
Meanwhile, detectives found more incriminating evidence.
Hairs in his Volkswagen Bug gear shift lever were of victims from Colorado and Utah.
And that gave them enough evidence to file on him in Colorado with a first-degree murder and kidnapping charge.
They transferred him. They took him to the jail in Aspen.
He was assisting in his own defense, so he had a right to go use the law library. This is an old courthouse, and the law library was up on the top floor.
The judge decreed that he didn't have to wear shackles or handcuffs, so he walked about the courtroom and back into the law library as a free man.
Over the months, I'd noticed a number of opportunities to just walk right out. I'd thought a great deal about escape, and I didn't know if I had the guts to do it, quite frankly.
There's a picture of him coming into the building that morning, and he's got a really concentrated look on his face.
The guard went outside for a smoke. The windows were open, and the fresh air was blowing through, and the sky was blue. And I said, I'm ready to go, and I walked to the window and jumped out. Honest to God, I just got sick and tired of being locked up.
He drives through downtown Aspen in a Cadillac.
He was a terrible driver, by the way. And there was a patrol car, and they see this car weaving. This is late. He must be a drunk. Well, he wasn't drunk, it was Ted Bundy. Back he goes.
But once in jail, he was already planning his next escape, losing enough weight to fit through a hole in the ceiling, his small stature allowing him to wiggle his way out.
He called through the ducting, just like in a movie. He came down into the closet in the jailer's apartment, knew the jailer wasn't there.
And then he put on civilian clothes. This is astounding stuff. And he gets out into the night, and he's free again.
Once he escaped, he had an opportunity to go somewhere and disappear, but he couldn't even do that. He had to kill again.
Stay with us.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.